couple of weeks ago, had anybody told me that the Disney animated masterpiece Alice in Wonderland would go on to become my favorite Disney animated movie to date, I would have thought you were crazy. I was proven wrong, however. But today, we're not talking about the animated film. We're talking about its live-action reimagining. Does it hold up to the original? We'll find out. I like the music in this movie very much, although it's very similar to another Tim Burton movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which distracts from this film a little bit because I started thinking about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory while I was watching this movie, but the music was still good overall. It fits the tone. Both Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Alice in Wonderland have this dark yet wacky, zany kind of tone to it, and the music fits well in this movie. It's just not very original. This movie played with my expectations a little bit. I went into this movie the first time thinking that it was just a complete remake of the original Alice in Wonderland, but it turned out to be more of a sequel than a remake. There are some story elements and character designs that hint that this is a completely new Alice in Wonderland universe, but overall there's so many other story elements that hint that this is the same Alice in Wonderland universe and that it's the same Alice just as an adult. And that was great about this movie. I enjoyed adult Alice in this film. She had similar character traits to the child Alice in the animated classic. She has a creative way of thinking. She's very straightforward and speaks her mind while still being polite. She also has an adult mentality in this film where she thinks Wonderland is all just a dream that's happening to her when in reality it's actually real, which is in stark comparison to the animated classic where Alice thinks that this is all real, everything that's happening to her is real, and it turns out just to be a dream. But the question that this movie poses is, was it actually a dream, or was it actually happening, and then the adult Alice in this film perceived it all as a dream, when in reality it was a memory, not a dream. And the movie answers that question, but then we still have the question is this a direct sequel to the original, and was what happened in the original actually happening to Alice? I love that about this movie, and the actress that they got to play Alice fits the role so well that she seems like just an older version of the Alice that we saw in the animated classic. And the flashback scenes with Alice in this movie were good. They pieced together some of the questions that we would have if you haven't seen the original, that it was able to fill in the blanks. And there were some elements that still leave the question as to whether or not this was a direct sequel or if it was a completely new Alice in Wonderland universe. But overall, either way, they captured Alice very well, that whether it's a direct sequel or if it's a completely new thing, Alice is still Alice in this movie. I like what this movie does with the Queen of Hearts. It really fleshes out her character and gives her time to shine. Early on we see her, and she remains the villain until the end of the movie. She really is developed in this movie. She is evil, but she also has a sympathetic side where she just wants to be loved and have affection. And she even shows kindness to Alice when she thinks that Alice is a girl named She invites her into her palace and has Alice entertained and seated next to her. But she also, the Red Queen, is still very evil. She has so many dark, wicked elements in there where, like, the fact that she beheads a frog and then she references to eating his tadpole children, and the fact that she had her husband killed drowning in a swamp because she thought that her husband was going to fall in love with her sister, the White Queen, and in order to prevent that heartbreak from happening, she decided to kill her husband instead. The Red Queen, she is a very strange character that you end up liking. She's wicked, she's evil, but she's also has a kindness to her. And she's also somewhat creepy, but yet beautiful in her own way. I really liked what they did with the story and the character development with the Red Queen. She is probably one of the best parts of this movie. Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter was okay. He wasn't great. The movie leans into a more serious, dark version of the Mad Hatter with some silly, fun character moments in there. But what they did with his story arc is they brought him down to earth way too much, meaning that they made him way too much of a person rather than the silly, fun lover that he was in the animated version. Yes, they give a good reason for why he's this way, but overall it just doesn't work to take a character like that, especially when he's played by Johnny Depp, and then make him this serious character. At least we got the Fratterwacken dance at the end, which captures the soul of Alice in Wonderland so well with its nonsensical silliness that at least the Mad Hatter had a good end in this film. I'm going to talk about the rest of the cast real quick. Anne Hathaway as the White Queen did a good job of acting, but the script really doesn't give her much to do, and so she falls flat. She's pretty much just meant to be there as an opposite to her sister, but that really doesn't give her any story arc. Absalom the Caterpillar is a spookingly good character. His design and voice just add to this creepy caterpillar who's actually still very likable as a character, and he serves a good role in the movie. The Cheshire Cat had a great redemption scene in this movie. He caused a lot of trouble in the animated movie, and in this movie it really gives him time to shine as he helps the Mad Hatter escape with all of his friends from the Red Queen, and that was a great scene. The Knave of Hearts, I think, is the villain of the movie. The Queen of Hearts was the main villain, and she overall was the better villain, but the Knave of Hearts was the truly evil character in this movie. He was so manipulative and took advantage of the Red Queen's emotions, and he acts like he's innocent of what she does, even though he's the cause of most of what she does. And I love when he tries to kill the Red Queen, and then he winds up having to get stuck with her for the rest of his life. It serves justice for both of them. The Red Queen being somewhat likable, that you want her to have a redemption, but because of how evil she is in this movie, you know she has to get justice in the end. And then when the Knave of Hearts gets justice, you wanted him to get it. And so in the end, it's justice for both of them. The Queen of Hearts has to live out the rest of her days with him, which she would have enjoyed had he not tried to kill her. Now she has to live with him knowing that he wanted to kill her, and he has to live with her the rest of his life when he didn't want to live with her at all. He really didn't like her at all. It shows him trying to seduce Alice in one scene, showing that he is not loyal to the Queen at all. He is just there to enjoy the spoils, I guess you would say, that come from being her right-hand man. And I loved the way it ended with both of them. And overall, the bunny and the hare were good. Tweedledee and Tweedledum were good. The mouse character was good. The characters in this movie were all pretty good. Some of them weren't amazing, but they all serve their purpose, and Tim Burton just knows how to make creative characters that you like. And it was definitely one of the live-action reimaginings that really takes the characters and makes you like them. I will say, outside of the Red Queen and the Caterpillar, I didn't think that any of the characters in this movie outshone the original. The Cheshire Cat got close, but it's not going to top the original for me. Turning the live-action remake of Alice in Wonderland into a full-on action-adventure fantasy was a great way to mature and modernize the franchise. It allowed for some more serious, character-driven tones and elements to be displayed in the movie. It doesn't work with some of the characters like the Mad Hatter, and that drags this movie down a bit. However, it was a good way to keep up with the times. It was kind of like Disney's Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, and had the sequel, Alice Through the Looking Glass, done better, this could have been one of the great animated franchises. I love the final battle at the end where the red side and the white side have this big final battle, and Alice in shining armor defeating the Jabberwock, who was voiced excellently by Christopher Lee. This was just one of those epic fantasies that everything from the characters, the creatures, the castles, all of the locations, it felt like one of those Lord of the Rings type fantasies, and that was a very enjoyable aspect for me. It's time to give Alice in Wonderland 2010 an overall score. For quality, I give this movie an 80%. It was a solid fantasy epic. I like what they did with the story, having Alice go on this journey to ultimately defeat the Jabberwock and free Underland of the tyranny of the Red Queen. The characters, primarily the Red Queen and Alice, being great, while other characters like the Mad Hatter fell flat because the serious dark tone doesn't really fit with his character. For enjoyment, I give this film an 84%. It was just a lot of fun. I love fantasies, and what they did with this film is pay tribute to the original by giving this movie such a zany, creative look to it, and some of the characters really were crazy and zany like the original, but this movie also gives it more of a serious tone, which in all due respect can make a movie enjoyable as well. So overall, for the overall score, this movie gets an 82%. Thanks everybody for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you can be on the lookout for more videos from Luke Film Boss.